All right, let's talk about something I'm pretty sure we've all done. You know that weird pull you feel to stay up super late, even when you're just completely exhausted? Well, today we're going to get into the psychology behind why that happens.
You know the scene, right? It's 1 in the morning, the house is totally quiet, you've got to be up for work in what, 6 hours? Your eyes are burning, your body is begging you to go to sleep, and yet, there you are, just mindlessly scrolling on your phone or watching just one more episode. Why on earth do we do this to ourselves?
Okay, so let's really dig into that feeling. It's this internal tug-of-war that only seems to happen late at night. And it's a very modern kind of struggle. On one hand, you've got the logical part of your brain, and it's practically screaming at you, go to bed, you are going to hate yourself tomorrow. But then there's this other, much more stubborn part that just digs its heels in. It literally feels like you can't bring yourself to shut it down, even though you know you have to.
So, what's our first instinct when this happens? Well, for most of us, we jump to a pretty harsh conclusion. We start blaming ourselves.
Yeah, that little voice in your head, it probably sounds something like this, doesn't it? We tell ourselves we lack discipline, that it's a personal flaw, or just terrible time management. And it's so easy to feel guilty about it. But what if that's not the real story at all? Okay, this is where we need to flip the script entirely. The myth, what we think is happening, is that we're lazy or undisciplined. But the reality? It's something else. This isn't a problem with your willpower. It's a deep psychological response, a response to a need for control. So, if it's not a personal failing, then what in the world is going on? Well, psychologists actually have a name for this, and honestly, it just perfectly captures the whole feeling. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination. I mean, that name is so powerful, isn't it? That word revenge, it suggests you're trying to take something back that was stolen from you. So what does it actually mean? Well, at its core, it's about making a trade. You sacrifice sleep to get some leisure time. But the most important part is the why. It's all driven by this feeling that you had zero free time, no you time during the day. So you're trying to reclaim it. Let me be super clear about this. This is not a defect in your character. It's a coping mechanism. It's your brain's totally natural, subconscious reaction to being overworked, overscheduled, and just plain stressed out. And that coping mechanism, that reaction, it all points to a really fundamental human need. And that's the need for autonomy, for a little bit of control over our own lives. Think about it like a chain reaction. First, you have a really stressful, jam-packed day where you feel like you have no control. That leads to this feeling that your time isn't even your own. So when you finally get a quiet moment at night, your brain makes this subconscious move to take back some of that me time, even if it costs you sleep. Does any of this sound kind of familiar? The triggers are things so many of us deal with every single day. You know, a demanding job, a calendar that's just back to back, or that general feeling that you spent all day long just taking care of other people's needs. That's the perfect setup for revenge procrastination. When you really boil it all down, this is the message. When you're scrolling at 1 a.m., your brain is basically staging a tiny, quiet rebellion. It's carving out a little defiant space in the day that belongs only to you, where nobody can ask you for anything. So where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway here? Because once you understand what your brain is actually trying to tell you, everything starts to make a lot more sense. And this right here is the absolute key. Staying up late isn't the problem, it's the symptom. You gotta think of it like a big flashing warning light from your brain. It's a signal that something in your daily life, your stress, your schedule, your lack of personal time is seriously out of whack. And that brings us to the final big question to think about. Instead of trying to fight that late-night urge with pure willpower, maybe the real answer is to listen to what it's telling you. If your brain is using the night to cry out for a little bit of freedom, the real challenge isn't to silence that cry, but to find a way to answer it when the sun is still up. What can you do during the day to reclaim a piece of your time so you don't have to steal it from your sleep?